Alright, in this video I start building my house, and other than that, just tell you a story about how a nice Indian family tried to poison me. Alright, let's get into it. I've recently come to the understanding as an adult that I'm a way too nice of a person. What made me think of this, and when I say I'm too nice of a person, I don't mean I'm a doormat and I let people walk all over me, or I do whatever people say. I just mean 9 times out of 10, if somebody asks me to do something and it's not hurting anybody, it's not hurting me, and it's not inconveniencing me, I'll probably do it. But this past Friday, oh my God, I did something I didn't want to do just to spare some feelings. And that's when I realized sometimes I'm way too nice. I need to put my foot down. So in past videos, I brought up how I'm an electrician. So I was working at someone's house, doing what I normally do. And at this particular job, pretty much, the meter on the outside of the house, so basically the emergency disconnect, where if there were to be an emergency, a firefighter can just run up to the side of the house and just turn the power off to the home. So in this house, for whatever reason, there could be a plethora of reasons, I'm not going to get into all the details, theirs was burning, so it needed to be replaced. So that job requires a permit to be pulled from the county and for the whole thing to be replaced, which means the home doesn't have power. So I show up at the house, get them on the schedule. The next day I come back and we're going to do the replacement. So I come back on the second day and boom, we're getting started on the work. So the work starts. The home was without power for about 3 hours at this point. So the family, multiple times. Oh, skipped an important detail. So this is an Indian family. Anybody that's in the field or anybody that does customer service jobs know. And this isn't a racist thing. I would say it's more so of a stereotype thing. But for the most part, whenever dealing with Indians or East Asians, anything like that, they like deals. They like to haggle. They could be cheap. They could be difficult to just, like I said, do customer service for, because you're trying to take care of them and they're trying to either get the best deal or they feel like you're screwing them or whatever reason. And it's a lot of back and forth when most people will be like, hey, the price is $6.99. They just give you their card and they just shut up. For whatever reason, Indians don't do that. Can it be $5.99? Again, I don't feel like that's a racist thing. I feel like most of them would agree with that. They're going to try to get a deal out of you. So skip the important details. So the family's house that I'm working at is Asian, or not Asian. Well, Indians are Asian. Anyway, so the house I'm working at is Indians. And another thing, and again, I'm assuming this is a cultural thing. So whenever I go to an Indian or an Asian person's house, there's typically the people that own the home, which is most likely the kids, and that will make sense in a second. And then they'll have either their in-laws live there or the man's parents live there. 9 times out of 10, every Indian home I've been to has had that setup where the in-laws or the parents of the husband live there. Indians and Asians, all races, like I said, this is kind of common. So I'm replacing power to this. I'm replacing the power to this home, and I see that these Indians are in here and they're cooking. So they're cooking their food, and then the husband, he comes to me, he's like, hey, whenever it's time for lunch, we made you some food. So me, typically don't like to eat at other people's homes. And unfortunately too, obviously we're in America, but I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, most of you seen videos of people in India making street food. Doesn't look the most appetizing, doesn't look the most clean. Again, we're in America, so I would imagine they're at least clean. They're not, dipping their armpits in a pot and their feet and just scooping food with their hands and putting it in a plastic cup. I don't think they're doing that, obviously, in the situation I'm in, but still just kind of have that negative connotation in my head.
Cognitions.
Again, if you say it's racist, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't hate them. I just don't want to eat their food in a non-restaurant setting. So they prepare this. So the dad says that, or the husband says that to me. I'm like, no, I'm good. I bring lunch, so I'm good. I don't want any food. His mom comes out and does the same thing. She said, hey, I'm gonna make some food for you. Whenever you're ready, come inside. I said, oh, no, thanks. I'll let you know if I change my mind though. An hour goes by, comes back a third time. Hey, it's getting late. Come eat this food. I'm like, man, no. The 4th time comes. 4 times. I'm like, man, I don't think I could say no this time. And again, home has no power. So this food is not going to be warmed up. So I sit down at the table. There's a bunch of pots, plates, pans, handmade bread. Everything is just laid out on this table. And the mom is just preparing my plate. And she's getting big scoops of everything. And you know, back in the day, I used to be a big dude. I used to be a little bit chubby. Now I'm a little more slender, more tone as far as my body goes. I'm not a big dude anymore. She is double, triple scooping literally everything on this plate. And again, everything is room temperature. Everything is cold. She's double scooping everything. The food, it doesn't smell the best. It doesn't look appealing to me. She pours soup in a bowl and then puts rice on a plate, a bunch of other stuff. And then she walks away, comes back with a glass of water. So now I'm stuck. I can't just get up and walk away from the situation. So I sit there, I stare at this room temperature Indian food, and I slowly start to eat it. And let me just say, this food was not good. Again, I appreciate them, you know, in their hospitality. I appreciate them wanting to take care of me. But that food was not good at all. It was all mushy. Which I would assume, at least from the outside looking in, just even how, you know, typically the home smells, I would expect it to be very spicy, which I love spicy. I would expect there to be a lot of seasoning. The food didn't have no spices, no blend. Maybe they did that because they were feeding me and they didn't want to, you know, kill me, I guess. I don't know. Food had no flavor. It was all mushy. It was all cold. It was all room temperature. It was not good at all. The only thing that was good, and I will give them the benefit of the doubt, was she gave me this bowl of soup, which was like red beet and tomato soup, she said. That was the only thing that was good, and luckily I ate that last, so the last thing on my tongue or my taste buds was actually something decent. But everything else was just not good. And there I am, you know, trying to be nice, trying to spare somebody's feelings, and I cleaned this plate. Every bite, I felt like I was gonna spit it out, but you know, I thugged it out and made it through, because I'm a nice guy, too nice of a guy. I said no multiple times. They made a plate anyway, and I couldn't say no. They even had handmade bread, and they said you're supposed to eat the food with the bread. I tried. Again, just wasn't good. But again, I chugged that water, ate the soup, ate the plate, cleaned the plate. I even got a picture of it, debating on whether or not to put it in the video, or of the clean plate, debating on whether or not to put it in the video, because in some miraculous way it could get back to them. I have no idea. I highly doubt it, because they were all older in that house. But hey, too nice. I would say I think next week I'm gonna try to do a funny story similar to this one every week moving forward, probably in the midweek and then a Reddit video at the end of the week, just to kind of get a flow going, get some more videos out there. But long story short, sometimes I'm too nice. Moral of the story, if you don't want to do something, put your foot down. I've been in too many situations where, again, if it's not the end of the world, I'm not hurting myself, I'm not hurting anybody, it's a victimless, you know, situation, or I have nothing else to do, normally I'll bend or fold for somebody, you know, kind of a people pleaser. But situations, you know, some situations require a foot to be put down and a no and a line to be drawn in the sand. So moral of the story, say no, bro, and mean it, and don't be nice, bro. Because if I threw up in the middle of this person's dining room, then it could have been really bad. But yeah, that was a funny story I just wanted to share. That's it. See you in the next video. Bye.